Well, why don't we get started? Because I think we got a lot of stuff to cover. Just we've got 508-998-5700. Who's that?
That's Ben Miller from GGD.
Oh,
I just called
okay.
in as well.
All right. How you doing, Ben? All right.
Hi.
So we just wanted to get together. The DD documents have been issued. There was a supplemental mechanical set issued last week, and we just wanted to go through that with the town, with the police department, and we're really getting into some of the detailed design here. So we want to go through that with folks. I just, at the outset, I did look through the supplemental mechanical drawings. I still don't think they're at a DD level. I was a little disappointed, guys, with where we are with that. I thought there'd be a bit more detail. This is a really important estimate that we're doing. This is really going to be make or break, I would say, for the project. If we, if we're over budget here, and I'm just concerned that with the level of detail, our estimators are going to have to take a very conservative look at this, and maybe bumping up their prices because of the level of detail. That said, I don't know how far in the estimators are. I see a bunch of people here today from Bond, so I'm sure you've had a good look at your different disciplines. And so maybe as we go through, we can get any feedback from you guys as to what you think the level of drawings are and how detailed you can do your estimates. But at the same time, just go through them so the folks from the town and the public safety understand where we are with the design, what's happening with the design, and what we're planning for this project. So with that, Janet, I think I'll just hand it over to you, and we can follow the sequence on the agenda, or we can go out of sequence, but we should go through the mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and fire protection this afternoon.
Okay, thank you. Garcia Galusca de Souza is well represented here. Chris Garcia, I think, would represent plumbing and fire protection, I'm guessing. And then mechanical is Ben, and electrical is Dave. So you guys can take it from here. I don't know if you have a PowerPoint or whether you want to talk it through or what. So that if you can present your work, and do you want to, it doesn't matter what order they go, Chris, you can make a choice.
Sure. I mean, do you want to do like a very quick page turn on the drawing?
I would do a quick page turn. I think would be the best way to go through it.
Okay.
Do you want to share your screen, Chris?
Host disabled participants from screen share. So.
You know what? I got to put in myself as the host. Just a moment. Okay, Chris, I just made you co-host. I don't know if anybody else from GGD needs to be given screen sharing access.
Well, like Janet said, I can go quickly through the plumbing and the fire protection, starting first from the fire protection. Similar to our last call, the building right now is fully sprinkled. The sprinkler system is in good condition. We don't plan to make any modifications to the sprinkler system except where in areas of the renovation as well as the building addition. So in terms of the lower level, level one, just in these highlighted areas, is areas of renovation where simply we're going to be removing the sprinkler heads that are there now. Having new arm overs to new ceiling tile locations to maintain the proper spacing within these two kind of bound areas. Then obviously we have the building addition in the front where we're just simply going to extend the first floor sprinkler zone into that area, have new branch piping with new pendant sprinkler heads in the new ceiling tiles.
Just, Chris, that evidence storage room, we're going to have high density storage in there, or general evidence, I should say. We're going to have high density storage in there.
Okay.
Are they recessed heads, or we just need to coordinate with the top of the storage units in there, make sure we have space? I think right now it's a little bit of an issue in their existing evidence room.
Okay. So Janet, we'll need to coordinate that. Ideally we want to have 18 inches from the top of the storage system to the ceiling.
Okay.
So if we can't achieve that, then we'll have to make some other modifications, but we'll design that area, Shane, as ordinary hazard due to the the dent files and whatnot. So but we can continue to look at that as we move forward in terms of coordinating ceiling heights.
Okay, I think so. We've been talking to someone about the high density storage. I think they're supposed to get back by July 30th, with sizes and dimensions. So I'll send that to you, Janet and Chris.
Yep. And Scott, make sure Scott gets it all.
Yeah, but we just need to coordinate the top of those filing storage units with the stuff on the ceiling.
Yeah, and we can make them fully concealed heads just to give us another little added protection for any kind of damage and whatnot in that area. So again, this building, fully sprinkled. So each floor has got its own sprinkler control valve assembly. So it's zoned per floor. So just moving up into the second floor area, again, just in the renovated areas here by the bound, we're going to remove the existing sprinkler heads, have new arm overs, new sprinklers to protect the new architectural layout. And then again, we'll extend that second floor system into the building addition area and protect that as well. And then similarly on the third floor, again, where there's a renovation in the conference area, chief's office, deputy chief's office, will be modifying the existing sprinkler system and then providing new sprinklers in the building addition area. Also, one thing I did not touch on, and obviously in the Sallyport where we have the building addition, we need to extend that existing system. There'll be new overhead doors, so new sidewall sprinkler heads will be provided under those overhead doors on this second level. And then as well, we carried a note in the narrative as well. There are some issues with the detention type sprinkler heads in the cells. So,
Chris, I'm pretty sure, Shane, didn't you confirm that the issue has gone away or been
that's
repaired?
gone away. They actually replaced those a couple of years ago, so we don't need to replace them again.
all right, so that note will go away.
Yeah, one quick question for me, Chris, though, that storage room 235A and storage 235B were a part of the cell block area and the edge of the corridor leading into the male cells, and they're now going to be part of the Sallyport. So there's obviously heads in there because of the cells, but I don't know what the condition of that is or if that has to be relooked at. So
okay, yeah, we'll modify that.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Yeah, so it's you're talking about these two areas here, Janet, right?
Yep, those two rooms. I mean,
Yes,
so
so-
one was the end of a corridor and one
Right.
was a cell. You can see the remains of the old plumbing chase. So we're just putting doors off of the, putting a wall in the corridor and putting doors into the spaces.
Okay. So that's just a quick overview of the proposed fire protection. I'm not sure if anybody has any questions.
Can you go on the ground floor again, Chris? Can you go to the first floor drawing?
Yep.
The garage we're enclosing in that's open now, Are you changing, is that a dry system in the garage now that you're gonna have to modify that little like triangular piece that we're adding on off of dispatch? Are there modifications to the garage system because of that?
You mean this area where the toilet is?
Yeah, like that's all open, like caged
Yeah.
in, open to the garage. I don't, is it a dry system in the garage now?
It is currently. It is.
So I would guess that I don't know if there's coverage in there, or maybe there's nothing. It doesn't exist now. So I just bring that up as a,
Right, yeah.
something to be mindful of.
Yeah, it is protected area, but I think the thing to do would be to take that off of the existing dry system and feed it back from the wet. That would make the most sense. So we'll convert that to the wet system.
And has someone confirmed the carbon monoxide system in the garage is functional and working? Is that part of this, Shane? I forget when we walked through.
Yeah, well, let's look at that with the mechanical, Philip.
That's mechanical? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know where that fell under. And scroll down, Chris, to the front of the building on this first floor, please.
Mhm.
So, okay, so the fire department's getting rearranged, so that's all accounted for. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
There was a question about doing a hydrant flow test. Chris, do we know that we have the capacity and the pressure for the addition? We don't need any.
Shane, we want to run a new test, but you know, according to the design documents as part of the original installation, you know, there was adequate water. There weren't any significant concerns in terms of what's there. So, but we do want to confirm that. So.
All right, so we can coordinate that with the town. That the DPW is very helpful in Wakefield. So
Yeah,
just
okay.
let us know when you want to do that.
Yeah. So the existing information was about 80 pounds. There was little drop and plenty of over 1,000 GPM when they did that test. So it should be fine.
So you do not want to do another one, or you do?
No, we should. We definitely
Yeah.
should. We should.
Okay, so yeah, let us know and we'll coordinate with the town.
Okay. Okay, if in terms of plumbing, I can just quickly go through plumbing. This is just the first floor demolition plan. So, you know, obviously we have toilet renovations that will happen in the renovated lobby and building a vestibule addition area. So those two existing toilet rooms will be demolished. There's an existing sink waste here that comes out that will get affected by the building addition in the front. There's also a lot of existing drainage in this area that will need to be reworked. There's existing downspouts on the front of the building that will get demolished due to the building addition, as well as an interior roof drain and some of the sanitary waste piping in the area. So that's being called to be demolished. Similarly, because of the Sallyport addition, there are downspouts on the backside of the building. I call it the backside, but these downspouts will be altered because of the building addition going on the Sallyport. So we've called that out as being demolished, and there will be new drainage as part of that. Moving up to the second level, again, due to the renovation, there's going to be toilet room demolition required. Toilet room here with and the sink, as well as toilet room in this area. We've also recommended that we replace the existing domestic water heater. There are two relatively new storage tanks in the boiler room, which will be reused. But the water heater, I think, is original to the 1999 renovations, and it's near its end of its useful life. So we were recommending replacing that. And then again, because of the Sallyport, there'll be a wall hydrant. There's an existing wall hydrant that gets affected by that addition that we've called out for demolition.
One quick thing, Chris, and I'm going to ask Scott Woodward to comment on this. The toilet room that we're moving in the front, which is right now in the chief's office, there was a request to possibly keep that. And Scott, you can jump in here. The detectives area, that's a detectives area in the future, and they had some. I had put storage in there, and they were asking because a lot of the people that they interview and that. Right now, they're up on the third floor. They're pretty isolated. They have toilet rooms right opposite that room. And now they're concerned about people that are being interviewed and that having to walk down and use the new toilets at the far end of the hall. And there was a comment whether they could keep that toilet room. I don't know, Scott, can you, I don't know. I don't think
I
we
think
had a final
we
decision.
decided to keep
Yeah.
that they
Yeah, I
didn't
think
need
we-
the storage. We ran it by the building committee. The building committee agreed that we should.
Yeah, so that's probably new to you, Chris, but I think we're going to keep that. I think it works. You know, I had sort of replaced it with a storage room. So we'll probably keep that. So
Anything else in terms of plumbing demolition? Again, on the third level, there's just a small minimal demolition. There's a sink up here that'll get affected by the renovation.
I got a question, and this is there anyone from the town on this, Shane? Did you say? I didn't look. I just wondered.
I think so.
like,
Joe jumped on.
Joe, I just wondered the last time someone played with any of the water shutoffs in this building. And is there any benefit to get those tested before a project like this, Shane? Or is that just something we just plan to deal with when the time comes, like in terms of scheduling and, budget, like, you know what I mean? Like it's small, but if none of them work and they go to demo everything, then that's going to delay things because nothing can get shut off. So when in the project is that stuff sort of verified?
Yeah, I don't know, if they check the valves, if they shut zones down or for maintenance and stuff. I don't know what condition they're in, Philip. We can look at that. We hadn't planned on doing that sort of, pre-construction survey type work.
No, you just
may be
assume.
beneficial that
Okay. They're new enough that they shouldn't be an issue, right? But so, okay, never mind. It comes up a lot for me in older buildings that you test them before, because when you get ready to do it and they don't hold, you've now delayed the whole project. So, but I'll leave you guys to figure that out.
Bill, this is Joe. We could do that pretty easy. I'll coordinate a time with the chief and probably Shane. Maybe we'll come in at night and just pick a time. We'll try to shut the building down and just ensure that it's common practice for what we do in the street. So this should be a piece of cake.
Yeah, just, I don't know. It's a one less thing to worry about. That's all.
I hear you. Ready? Rather find it out now than, when everybody's mobilized and sitting there waiting.
Right. So, okay. Thanks, Joe.
Yep.
Okay. This is just our new work below slab plan. This is just trying to show what's required in terms of the building addition, especially, like I had mentioned, we need to reconnect the existing sanitary piping that leaves the building in this area. So that'll get new piping underneath the new slab of the addition taken to 10 feet out. In addition, the rainwater will need to be dealt with. As I mentioned, this is the area where the downspouts will be taken out. The addition would be a flat roof area. So there'll be new rain leader that we'll need to pipe down to this level, as well as pick up the existing roof drainage that's in the building. And then there's a new 10-inch line that leaves the building. So seems like a large building, a large size pipe, but you also got to consider the amount of sloped roof that we're going to now pick up with this system because of those downspouts get eliminated.
So Chris, again, just back in that evidence room. So you show a floor clean out there, which I'm not sure you're going to have access to.
Yeah, you're right, Shane, with all this
Yeah.
here. So what the code allows us to do is take those floor cleanouts and put them right outside the building.
Okay.
So
And-
there'll be ground cleanouts from the exterior.
And are they, what are those other two to the left of that? Are they vents? I can't see.
These two, so those would be, these are risers because we have the bathrooms above as well as
Right.
the roof drainage. I mean, we'll need to coordinate that with Janet as we move forward. We were just trying to own having a 4 and a 6-inch rain leader, 4-inch sanitary 6-inch rain leader coming down from the upper levels.
Right, again, because I think that evidence storage would run tight to that wall. So I don't know if
Yeah.
we can put that in the wall or,
Sure, yeah, so we'll need to further coordinate that with Janet, but we'll keep that noted. In addition, down here in this level, we also have to deal with the new plumbing in the dispatch, new toilet room, sink. So that'll have a new sanitary line that will get connected to the existing sanitary that's in this area of the building, as well as the renovated toilet rooms. Those get relocated to this location near the new vestibule. So those will get connected to the new sanitary.
so I think you're just missing a fixture in that kitchenette, Chris, at the back of the dispatch.
There's going to be a sink here, right, Shane?
Yeah, you see it right there.
And lavatories.
Okay. So you're just, yeah, missing a, I know, P5 or something. I don't know what it was.
So then moving up, so again, new toilet rooms, new plumbing fixtures. In terms of the plumbing fixtures, we talked about just having manual, all manual fixtures, flush valves, sinks, faucets, have everything manual, nothing sensor operated. That's what was discussed at our last meeting. That has changed. That's the way we're moving forward with everything. So in terms of the renovated areas, we're going to reconnect to the existing hot and cold water distribution system and just pipe to the new fixtures utilizing that existing equipment, existing distribution. Again, up on this floor, this is the second level. This is where our Sally Port addition is. So again, we're going to have some new below slab piping that'll need to be offset around the new addition in order to repipe those downspouts outside. As I mentioned, there'll be a new wall hydrant that gets altered that we're going to relocate or provide new connecting to the existing domestic water system. And then also in the boiler room, we're showing that new domestic water heater. What we had proposed is just a natural gas fired, high efficiency, concealed combustion unit. So what we had planned on doing, instead of trying to provide new air intake and exhaust up through the building, we were proposing to just go through the side wall. I know there's a gas meter on it in this area, so we would avoid having this over the gas meter, but just have a penetration through the wall that doesn't look to be any air intakes along that wall above that. So that seemed to be a pretty straightforward installation. Sidewalk is set off so that that won't be in any conflict with any sidewalk or anything like that along the street. And again, so again, new kitchenette sink on the third level that'll connect to the existing distribution system, existing vent systems. And then the building addition, this is that third floor toilet, which would have that sanitary stack chain that we were talking about, as well as new roof drainage in this area. So we had, again, just showed those risers behind the toilet chase on this level, but we'll coordinate that as it makes its way down through the space and coordinate that with the storage. And then in terms of the roof plan, we're going to maintain all the existing vents, but then have the new roof drainage for the addition. And again, that would be carried down all the way to below ground and connect outside as we originally shown in that first lower level plan. We'll have a new 3-inch vent through roof here in this location for the new toilet room in the chief's office.
So Chris, anywhere you have a new sink or kitchenette, it's going to be the instant hot water. We're not tying into the building hot water system, is that correct?
In the addition, that's what we were planning on doing. Where we're renovating, we already have the hot water there. We were just going to reconnect.
Right. So Joe Conway, that's not an issue for you guys?
I don't think so, no.
Yeah, okay. I mean,
So Joe, it's just a small, like 8x8 water heater. It's right underneath the lavatory. Usually it just fits right under where the knee space is. It's not really tucked in, out of the way. Okay, if there's no other questions, I can stop sharing. Dave, do you want to take it from there?
Yeah, I can. You want to do electrical first before we go to HVAC?
Oh, I'm not sure. I'm sorry. What was the agenda?
It was mechanical, electrical, but it doesn't matter to me. I don't know if it matters to anybody else. Why don't we do electrical? I bet it's going to be more straightforward than mechanical, because mechanical is the toughest.
So I will share my screen. Everybody see that?
Yes, we see it, Dave.
All right, so I'll start off with the lighting plan. So essentially, all the new renovated spaces will be getting new lighting and lighting controls. We're not going to utilize the existing, and if anyone from the town or I'd appreciate if you chime in on the lighting control system. I was recommending not tying into that existing lighting control system and using local simple lighting controls, aux sensors and power packs and switches in the renovated areas. I think that lighting control system's a little dated, and it's really not going to do anything that local aux sensors couldn't do already. So in my opinion would be to simplify the controls where we can in the new renovated spaces, but they would be acting alone with aux sensors and dimming and switches. So we would accomplish that through local controls. Right now it's recessed light fixtures, all LED, high efficient fixtures with some square down lights and just recessed 2x4s.
I think David, yeah, we'd agreed that the local control was okay the last time we went through the electric.
Yeah, it's an older lighting control system, and I see no advantage to utilizing it here. It's not. We're going to be able to, with one exception, exterior lights. We're going to use it because it's going to be time clock photocell.
Yeah.
So with exception to the exterior lights, all these individual rooms will have local switching, aux sensor, and daylight harvesting. So that would be the first floor. Level 2.
So just to clarify, Dave, so that's not tied into into the building management system, and that's just local to each area, each room.
Yeah, so even the corridors would have local, and this is how we would design a new building.
Yeah.
Even the corridors would have aux sensors, so you're really, you're maximizing your energy savings. You're simplifying. There's no complicated lighting control system behind it. We're just trying to give.
So how do you program that?
It would be programmed in when it's installed, and that's it.
All right. So if they wanted to make changes to that, though, is that?
It would be up, and there would be a little room controller. You'd have to
Right.
go up in the ceiling, and so the changes you would make. There's no schedules here. They're all occupancy.
It's just occupancy.
Yeah, there's even in the corridors, it's just as you come in, the only changes you would make is if you wanted to delay make 15 minutes, on for 15 minutes if you wanted to make it longer, 20 minutes, and that's just a dip switch on the room controller.
Okay. So it's occupancy only, it's not timed or scheduled and
Right. Like I said, except for the exterior lights, we're gonna put those on the existing lighting control system. So all the exterior lights turn on and off together.
So hallway lights will go off then?
Yes.
You don't, okay. I always thought in my residential buildings, I have to provide light all the time. Like I'm never allowed to shut lights off in common area hallways. Is it?
Yeah, they call that a nightlight circuit. That's optional in a commercial building.
It's optional, okay.
So, these would be, as soon as you walk out the door, lights would turn on.
You know what they have the low dimming, so the light's in a really low setting, and then when someone walks in, it goes to a full setting. So that's how I've gotten away from some of it. I don't know. I find most people don't like walking into dark hallways, even though it's like a 1 or 2 second, like not even. But it's not my home. I'm just bringing it up as a
And most likely, see, these would probably be set to like 20 or 30 minutes as opposed to 15 minutes. So during occupied hours, there's probably someone walking in that they may stay on all day, but then at the end of the day, they shut off.
Yeah.
So I haven't got complaints on that, and it seems to be the simplest way to do it. The biggest complaints I get is the lighting controls being too complicated. So what we're really trying to do is simplify the system so that, there's really not much that can go wrong, or it's easy to maintain, essentially. Any questions on?
You show those red or orange colored light fixtures. Yeah, what are those for? Those are existing to remain, right?
Yes, those are existing to remain. The darker colored ones are the ones within the renovated areas.
I know that we are going for the new plans, but then can we go back to the demo plans for electrical? Just after you do the new ones.
Oh, yeah, we will. I can go through those.
Yeah, thanks.
You want to look at them now or after?
It's up to you.
You go.
Because there was some issue with the dotted line and solid line on the new ones. We want to make sure that we're not double dipping. If it's gonna stay, it's staying.
Because I know some of them are tagged to remain, but I think the legend calls for anything dotted is just existing. So I'm not sure if those are.
Yeah, anything shown in these areas, yeah, they should have X's on them. This
They
is
should.
all,
Okay.
yeah, all this renovated area, this needs to be all demoed.
Oh, so
Unless it's
those
called to
fixtures are
remain.
coming down.
Yeah, unless it's XR is relocate, RR is
Yep.
remove and reinstall, XM is existing to remain. If it doesn't have a tag, we should, that's a good point. They should say X on them, so I'll just make a note.
Exactly.
Great.
Thank you.
So that would,
We take the fixtures down and use the existing branch circuits, I believe.
yeah, at this point, that's what we're planning for the lighting. Reuse existing branch circuitry. And then we still have to put the lighting control, those room controller details in there. We're probably gonna use watt stopper or end light, something like that. And in some rooms, it may just be a power pack. We're trying to just keep it as simple as possible. So those details will be on the drawings once we get to the construction document phase. So, in our demo drawings, we show all, the locations of existing panels. We've taken all this information off. We haven't added it in here, but we have a lot of spare spaces and, circuits to accommodate some of the new circuits that we're going to be adding. And we know that the UPS is right now is at a 45% capacity, but that's serving the dispatch now. So that's going to come off, but we expect that there would be a little bit more load put on the UPS at the end of the project. And then the third floor demo, we'll add the X's to the items that are going to be deleted.
Great, thank you.
I think one of the things, this is a big one here. The fire alarm control panel relocation. This is the fire alarm control panel for the building. This hall, I believe it's going to move, right, Janet? This wall here. Or did we may have talked about being able to keep it. I can't remember.
Yeah, right now the wall that it's on, that small piece right behind that shaft, is currently staying still.
Okay, all right. So we're going to correct that, because in the beginning we identified that as a potential,
Issue, yeah.
issue. So we're gonna that's right. We talked about keeping that just so we don't have to move that.
Yeah, well, we have some, obvious coordination to do now that they know what the issues are. We'll go spend some time going through all that. So
that was one of the major demo items. So I'll go back to my lighting. I don't know. So any questions on lighting? Is pretty straightforward.
Just so the lighting schedule, David, there was none with the DD set.
Yeah,
where are you on that? I mean, that can be a big number.
Well, it's 2x2 and 2x4s LED fixtures, which we describe in the narrative. So we haven't selected those fixtures yet. We could put it's just a 2x2 LED flap.
And I'm not sure if we have the bond estimators here. If they're just standard fixtures, fine. Light fixtures can sometimes be a budget buster.
Yeah.
If it's standard, maybe we're okay. I don't know if we've got any custom or special lights.
maybe the lobby, David. I don't know what we're doing in the lobby. Maybe if we back to the lobby level, we just have some, downlights in that. So we have to get something for those as well.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
right now we do smaller square downlights right now.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know if we're gonna
we
don't have a custom fixture in here right now, but we may.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'd like to.
I guess I'd ask Bond, are you guys comfortable with the light fixtures that you can, price them accurately?
For budgeting purposes, yes, those are
Okay.
good enough to put a number against it.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, they give you a little description on the reflected ceiling plan too.
Yeah, and I will comment that reflected ceiling plans are a pet peeve of mine. That Scott will be working with David to align all the grids, and there will be no 2x4s in a space right next to a 2x2 where you view through the same window. So we'll be doing a little coordination on that. That's a no-no. Period. So small detail, but we'll be doing coordination to make it all look good as well as perform well.
Yeah, to answer,
it won't make a difference.
Yeah, to answer Shane's question on the lighting, there's nothing. I think from an estimating standpoint.
Yeah, nothing to affect.
With some percentage of fixtures not shown yet, or we should be okay. There's nothing really that's we shouldn't get any shocking items.
No, I agree.
So then we'll go over to power. So we show the location of the existing panels, which we'll be pulling power from for our new, new power for the renovated areas. We will be adding some card readers to an existing security system that they currently have. There'll be a new emergency call box that we talked about in this vestibule. So there's going to be power to these doors. We still have to coordinate the door hardware and what's electrified and what is it with as we get into CDs. One thing is that it's not identified here, but for the estimators, these circuits would be going down to the UPS room because our dispatch stations are going to be on UPS.
And David, can I ask a question about the UPS? How much of the building, when you said 45%, how much of the building's on the UPS total?
it's-
I mean, it's a 24/7 building, pub
It's
safety.
not a lot. It's probably the data closets and the dispatch room. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, is that enough? Would you, I mean, typically in a new building, we see a lot more on it than that. What about the cell blocks and
No,
things
no,
like
no.
that?
UPS is not the generator. I think the whole building's on the generator.
Okay, but this is the UPS being the uninterruptible powered supply, so
Yeah,
so we're dealing with the dispatch and what they take in.
just
Okay,
communications items. That's it. And it's
Yeah.
at 45% utilization when last time I checked.
okay,
When I went out there. So
okay.
we feel like we can reuse that. So some of the existing security stuff, existing power to remain. Some of these walls that are not getting disturbed.
Where those new panels are fed from, do we have to shut down the board to add new breakers to fit those new panel boards, or there are existing spare breakers in the existing distribution?
So these panels have existing spare breakers in them, but you can't do live work. So they will have to, they'd have to follow the procedure to shut down the panel ahead of it to make safe. So there's going to be some coordination and outages.
Right.
So they're all fed from right here. And this is your main electric room here. So this is all your emergency power and all. So as we get into, we're going to put together an existing one-line riser diagram and then show that way you can see what's fed from where.
Yeah. For budgeting purposes, we take it from that electric room for the lengths to make sure that we are covered.
That's correct. Because we may have to go to those panels in some cases.
Question for the police department. I think the lockers in the new women's locker room, do we want power to those? I think it's
Yeah, we would like an outlet in each locker.
So
where you are now, that's existing, David?
yeah, right here.
The new one said, yeah, I think the 10 new lockers in there.
Okay.
Do you have power, chief, in the existing women's and men's locker room?
We do. Each locker has its own outlet, so the officers can charge their radios, flashlights, and other equipment.
So yeah, so we should just add that to the new one, Dave.
And there are a few extra new lockers in room 108 as well, Dave.
Okay, I see those. Yep, I see the different color.
Okay.
Each new locker.
Sorry.
Okay. And then obviously, in addition to all the receptacles and power, general purpose power and security power, we'd be providing power to any new mechanical equipment. And then this is the level 2. We had a part plan for the lab, just because there's sort of a lot of power shown in there. We have USB receptacles, some countertop receptacles.
Can you talk about telecommunication outlets? Is it complete with wiring? And where are the IDF or MDF room?
The IDF room is right here.
Wherever the UPS is, yeah.
Yeah, so that is where, and actually it's right here. This wall doesn't exist. At some point, Janet or that wall got taken out at some point along the history of the building. So
A long time ago, quite a long time ago now.
So this is where your data rack is. So that's where all your data is going to be going to. So yeah, we should be including data with the cabling. Cat 6A.
And Dave, that lab area, that wall, it looked like it had tons of power. You know, the serious need for lots and lots of power because of the electronic devices they take into evidence now. And, you know, that when we were there, they had at least a half dozen laptops, iPhones and iPads that were stacked in evidence, and they have to stay plugged in continuously without interruption. And so the more power we can put on that wall, they could have way more than that in the future in that room. So just bringing that up.
Yeah, we put just about as much as we could.
Can get.
physically
Okay,
fit.
it looked like it, but just letting everybody know why there is so much power in those rooms. So
And we have report writing, receptacle. We probably need a data right here. That's missing for the printer.
Are we allowed to use J hooks for the telecommunication wiring because this is a safety building, or it's going to be all in AMT home runs to the IDF?
Nope, J hooks above accessible ceilings.
Great.
You know, there probably will be, we'll have some conversations. We didn't see a good spot for it, but that might be an AV device here, a TV of some sort.
oh yeah.
But,
Yeah,
you know,
Scott has an idea of all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so we put, you know, one here in the roll
Yep.
call room.
Yep.
That's your data closet. We're showing existing to remain items. There's your pad mounted transformer. That's your bump out for your addition. Electrical vehicle charging station remains, does not need to move. Level 3 power. You know, we're just picking up the power for the kitchenette, deputy chief's office, general purpose receptacles. You know, keeping power where the walls didn't move. We're trying to maintain existing power there. It's an existing panel right there that we may be using, whether we will be using for these branch circuits. Existing card reader.
So there is only one IDF room. The third floor and the first floor home runs are going to go to the second floor, correct?
Yep, they all go right there. Yep.
Thanks.
There's nothing here. Fire alarm, it's existing. We're reutilizing the existing fire alarm system. We're adding an ADA boosted power supply to accommodate any new devices. So any existing devices, we're going to cut into existing loops. So it's not a new fire alarm system. It's modifying the existing to accommodate the renovation. And here we go. We have, you know, some of these are RR remove and reinstall. We're showing the XMs. So this is the final, you know, the final layout. These devices are new.
Do those new devices need to be proprietary, Dave?
Yeah, they need to match. They need to be UL listed with the existing fire alarm control panel. So they make other different manufacturers make it, but they need to be on the list. They need to be UL listed to operate with that fire alarm control panel.
So we can list 3 manufacturers, or
We don't list. We basically list the fire alarm control panel that we're extending, and then we spec the devices. You know, the properties of the devices, the Candela ratings, the materials, and their you know, mechanical and electrical specifications, and then also list that needs to be UL listed with the panel, with the existing panel, and then, you know, they'll provide the appropriate device.
okay.
And this panel's not too old that we don't feel there's going to be a problem finding compatible devices?
No, it's
It's pretty new, I think.
it's somewhere in the middle.
And sometimes
It's
somewhere in the
not the
middle.
original system.
Yeah, they don't talk the new stuff sometimes, the middle
Yeah,
ones. Yeah.
it's an EST panel, addressable. So
Okay, yeah.
EST is still available. Edwards is still available.
Right.
It operates fine. There's no reason
Okay.
to. There's no reason to replace it. Unless there's problems with it that I'm unaware of. So as you can see, we're putting smoke detection in the egress paths or in multi-occupant spaces, and then audio, visual, and notification appliances, per NFPA 72. Similar thing here. Up on the 4th level. Then we get into the demo plan. So this is the security riser that we still have to develop. But if you look at the narrative, we're extending the existing systems. We're not providing any new security or access control systems.
Yeah, but on the drawing, it says that the owner's contractor looks like the security, it's not part of this.
Oh, that's let me see.
The devices will be, the wiring will be in this and the devices will be by the owner.
The power wire. So that's a good
Yes.
question. Have we determined that if this is going to be state contract for security?
Just, yeah, the devices, David, not the infrastructure.
No. So when you do the state contract, they'll do the wiring and the devices. We'll do the power and conduit.
And conduits, exactly.
Right. That's how we do it. So yes. So we're going to extend the existing systems. That way they can get their vendors that are familiar.
Doesn't the state contract limit the value of the wiring?
Nope. They limit the value of construction labor, and they exclude wiring for the security system as construction labor.
Okay. So the town security vendor will have to run wiring from the head end room out to where the devices are?
That's
They'll
correct.
provide all the conduits?
That's correct. We'd have sleeves and J hooks, and they'll just run the cable.
Okay, so I'll coordinate that with Joe. That's Todd. Is it Todd Bowman?
Yeah, yep,
Yeah.
I do.
And who do you know who the vendor is? The security vendor, or is it just going to go to a multiple?
I don't know offhand who he's using. I know who he was. He's actually a vendor for something too, believe it or not. I could confirm that if you want.
That at some point we should know who he is, and maybe if it is a single vendor that's been installing the system throughout, and that's who we're going to go to off the state contract, it would be helpful to to get his existing knowledge and make sure that we cover some of the details that are needed on the plans.
Okay.
I'll give Todd a call and find that out.
Same thing with the CCTV cameras, correct?
Yeah, they should all be IP type. So
But we're not providing it. Furnishing is by the security contractor.
that's correct. Data
Yeah.
cable and camera and any additional storage and programming will be by him. And one thing to note is that the annunciator will not be in the dispatch room. The generator annunciator or fire alarm annunciator as requested by somebody. Because I know that they were they were covering the little buzzers on the annunciators because it was bothering the dispatchers. So we did get that information on the drawings. And that's what we have for electrical.
Thank you.
Ben, are you up?
Yep. Just looking to try to share my screen.
Yep.
I don't know if that works. it. I apologize. Are the plans up?
Yeah. Can you do full screen?
Okay. So this is level 1 demo. We're showing the existing ductwork configuration as it is. There's some minimal demo that's going to be coming out. Again, demo 1B, existing ductwork configuration. Not too much going on the first floor. We have the second floor where we have 2A demo shown on the side of the existing. There's some existing ductwork shown as coming out. We're showing the boiler room, the enlarged boiler room, where we're anticipating taking out everything basically inside the boiler room. The 2 existing boilers, combustion air, the pumps that are being replaced, the VFDs, unit heater. Basically everything from inside the boiler room is going to be anticipated to be replaced. On 2B, we're showing the existing ductwork from the kitchen hood on the fire station side, which is problematic, being demoed. We have the chilled water room up here. Where that is also indicated as being removed and replaced in kind. We have the enlarged plan on MD 106. Showing the piping, which is going over to the condensing unit. We're showing the roof plan, where RTU 1 and 2.
So Ben, you show those to remain.
Same question. I thought R2U2 was going away.
So RTU2 was being changed, right? We had to upsize that to increase capacity for the addition.
So my question is, I already know the answer to this, but the pre-construction tab reports, we haven't gotten any further with those, and we've taken a further look at the building layout, and what I want to be able to say is, with the existing capacities with a VAV system, you can have more of a connected capacity than what your load would allow you for. The addition that's being put on overall is not a tremendous addition. So basically what we're doing is we're pushing the exterior load out by the length of the addition. So what we really need is a report generated so we can see what the capacities of these units are.
So what are you saying?
Well,
Basically,
we
where
know-
R2U might work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Well, I can tell you,
Yeah.
we got sort of a preliminary cost to do that, and it was $40,000, which, obviously we need to go to the committee to get approval.
Yep.
Our whole commissioning budget is $50,000, so we can do a pre-construction report and then probably don't get to commission the building.
We sent you, Ben, you got that report to review, didn't you? Do you have any thoughts on that, what they
Yes.
were owning? Yeah.
It was higher than I would have anticipated. the cost being, I had asked Scott, and I guess that's the only budget that was received. I know there was an RFI by another balancer that I just recently forwarded review comments back on, where they were mentioning some things that could be extracted from that. But when we're looking at the building, we have to look at it in the building entirety, because the RTUs, the two RTUs in the AHU are basically handling one level per unit. So we're looking at the ventilation that's being brought into the building. We're looking at the loads that these units are carrying. And again, with a VAV system, there's diversity that's built into the system. With that diversity, you know, we are adding load to the building. There's no doubt about that. But how much load are we really adding, and how much diversity is in the existing system? So my question is, like, if we can gauge what the rooftop units and the air handling unit are doing, that is the driving force as to what these components are. Are they fit? You know, could they possibly be fit for reuse? I don't know if I know they're connected to a building management system. I don't know if the existing units have airflow measurement stations. I doubt they would from 2001. Maybe they do. I've never been, gotten any feedback on that, but that's just something I was thinking of today. The basis of design was Haycon. I can't remember what these were, like Springfield or something Spring unit, Scott Spring, I think they were, or something. That might have an airflow measurement station in it. I'm not sure. And if it is, if we can get some values extrapolated for what these units are doing, and if we were to ramp them up fully, what they could potentially be doing, that would be very beneficial moving forward.
Ben, can I ask a question? So my quick question to you is, that would be, astounding news if we didn't have to replace RTUs 1 and 2. But in the big picture, are units like this that are already 20 years old at the end of their useful life? Anyhow, could we see a breakdown in this unit a year from now?
Yeah.
Just,
Well, right. And this is why I've advocated for pricing for the new units, because while you are going through this process, again, if a balancer goes out there and takes a look at this unit and says, this thing is on its last legs, i.e. your boiler room where you are losing boilers already. So, that thing is limping towards the finish line.
Yeah, that is my concern. Yeah.
It's time to it would be good to consider, but if they can find out that it is functionally, working close to what it was designed for 20 years ago, I mean, it still should be,
So I
that's
think
why this information is critical.
coming out of schematic design, when we went through the whole, VE process, my understanding was we had to replace rooftop unit number 2 from a 10,000 CFM to I think 17,000 for the capacity. We were going to maintain or retain rooftop unit 1, 3, and the air handling unit, but we were going to put those in as alternates, in the hope that some additional funding would become available, because these units may last another year, 5 years, possibly 10 years, but certainly not going to last another 25 years.
Yeah.
We had suggested the original suggestion on doing the testing and balancing was because we didn't want to finish this project, not have the HVAC system perform as we expected it to, and then have people say, well, it didn't work
at the end
before we started. So how do
Correct.
you work at the end? I don't know what you do on other projects, Ben. I typically don't do an extensive testing and balancing on renovation projects. It was a suggestion just to try and, eliminate some headaches at the end of the project. But I didn't think it was going to be, $40,000. I didn't think it was going to be 30 or even 20. I thought it was going to be a couple of guys there for a week, measuring the air volumes coming out of the ductwork.
Shane, can I jump in real quick?
Yeah.
We got two proposals that were within $2,000 of each other. I haven't put them together yet because we were waiting on the RFI response, which we got about an hour before this meeting. But it looks like, based on that response, the scope can be reduced dramatically. And I think once we have that reduction in the proposals, it may make sense to reconvene on this topic, because I think if it's reasonable, it makes sense to do it.
Yeah, and I just want to add to that, I agree with everything. If we can save the project and get it in under the 9, but I am worried about that long-term fix. Would the committee, I think this is something that the committee has to think about. If they are proven to be in good shape and they see 5 more years out of them, is that something the committee wants to stay with and recognize that 5 years down the road they will be replacing them, or do we build the alternates just like we were before in a replacement thing?
I think we put the alternate in.
Oh, I do. Yeah, I do too. But I'm just, yeah.
Can I ask a follow-up on that? If we originally were concerned about RTU2, if it did get upsized, would all the existing ductwork and penetrations be able to be maintained, or we have to open up floor penetrations for larger ductwork, that kind of thing? Now that we're potentially talking about reusing the existing unit, I'm guessing that the floor penetrations and ductwork routing is going to be able to be maintained. But can someone speak to that? If there's a
we've carried our design further, and I think the amount of floor penetrations or anything being fed off of RTU2 would be scaled back. So we would stick with my intent is to try to stick as close as I can to the original building design of AHU1 serves at level 3, RTU2 serves level 2, and RTU1 serves level 1. And I would like to ideally know what the capacity is at each of those units, to know even if we had to do or build in replacement of those units, that it's going to change CFM wise, but it's not going, it might adjust capacities, but it's not going to change weight significantly of one unit opposed to the other two or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing for us if we have to cut new openings or do new steel or, any reinforcement. I didn't think that we were going to have a whole lot of that, but that is a coordination item.
Yeah.
But I think we have that in the budget, don't we?
We have some funds in the budget. We just don't know. It was a completely,
Exactly.
it was just completely speculative, and it wasn't really thinking about phasing or how to, what we have to shut down to get the thing to be, there's just so many variables that were unknown.
Right.
This is a great advancement to get this information, because, to upsize that and to have to redo all the trunk lines and support that unit, it would be extensive. It's just disruptive. I think we have some money in the budget, but it would be certainly disruptive and difficult to phase.
So I guess so this is a 10,000 CFM unit. Isn't that the capacity? And we just want to verify
That's what
through
the
this.
existing listed capacity was.
Right.
Say that again, Ben. I didn't hear that.
That was what the existing listed capacity was.
So this testing and balancing would confirm that unit is and still performs at a 10,000 CFM capacity.
Correct. Or is performing at a 10,000 capacity and may be able to, at what level you know, that unit might be operating at 10,000 CFM capacity at, you know, 90%, and maybe
So-
has some additional capacity
Right.
where it's not operating at 10,000 CFM at 100% capacity.
Yeah, okay. So we would test, can it provide 10,000 CFM? And if it does, what is it actually providing? And if it's
Right.
providing something less than that, maybe we don't need to replace it. Yeah.
Right.
But, you know, I guess, David, we got to look at those proposals, see, do we have to do, you know, 100% testing and balancing? Is there something less we can do to get this answer? I would hate to spend 40,000 or 30,000, whatever it is, to find out we need to replace them anyway, right? When we're already cutting costs and potentially not replacing.
Agreed. We just got about 2 or 3 hours ago, we got the reduction. So I haven't sent that to the
So-
vendors yet.
I think for the purposes of the design development estimate, we should continue to move forward with the scope we included at schematic, which was replacing rooftop unit number 2, keeping the rest of them, but including them, the replacement of those as an alternate. And hopefully sometime between now and, you know, the middle of August, we can fine tune those proposals, Dave, and bring that to the building committee and see if we can spend some funds to test this stuff.
We're on it.
Hey, Shane, you know, are we going to try to get Ben involved in trying to slim that proposal down if necessary? Is a comment?
I think so. So, you know, it sounds like Dave got another proposal today. Maybe if Dave can send that out, we'll take a look at it and
No, just, let me just be clear. We got the RFI response today confirming the reduction in scope. It's gonna be some time before we get revised proposals.
Okay.
Oh, so how many proposals do you have in hand, Dave? You got 2?
2 within $2,000.
Right. So I think, yeah, once we get those revised proposals, you know, maybe we have a conference call and just see what the scope is. And, you know, Ben, you could be part of that. And
Yeah.
so that we can go to the committee with something we're confident will give us the answers to hopefully, you know, spend $1 today to save 2 tomorrow.
Correct. Agreed.
Yep.
I just wanted to know, you know.
But I don't think going to the committee with where we are today is going to fly.
Okay. All right. We want to keep going through Ben and let's.
So I guess just for the estimators on the call, that you know, I would continue to carry the scope that we finished schematic with, which is replacing RTU2 and putting everything else in as alternates.
Okay. So when we get to the new work, we are at the first floor. And you can see what we're trying to do is just carry the intent of the terminal VAV box in to serve the addition of the building. We also are going to need dedicated exhaust in this area, and the way that we were proposing it at this point was to have it on either side of the addition and then going straight up.
How is it determined? Is there a graphic representation, what's existing and what's new? How is that easily defined?
Well, the new ductwork is sized. The demo ductwork is basically the unsized, and that's indicated on the demo plan, right?
Yep.
It's indicated by X is what's demoed, right?
Yeah, the demo had all the X's, and then and you can see the 14 by 8s or 12 by 20s or whatever they are. Yeah.
And the little
Right.
circle with the X.
Yeah.
So we're showing some of the new ductwork here. Serving the space. We have the dispatch.
But that's not sized, right?
Yeah, and
So I guess that's what I'm
dispatch
saying.
line.
I think it's
Oh, yeah.
really challenging to
Yep.
determine what's new and existing the way it's drawn currently.
I can get this further developed and back over to you. Again, the existing is shown on the demo, but we can clarify it a little bit clearer on this plan as well, to, you know, with the connect to existings and stuff like that, make it a little more clear.
So it's just a hand markup sufficient, Dave, for now? I see what you mean here.
Yeah, anything would be helpful. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just, we're making it difficult for everyone, and that making things difficult always adds money.
Yeah, no, that was my concern with these mechanical drawings.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you can mark something up, Ben, just, you know, color
Yep.
the new stuff, and then I guess I'll have to make an estimate on what the size might be.
Yeah, I think,
That's fine. We can,
if I may just, by the time we get to the trade bidders in particular, that kind of distinction will make it just a lot easier for those guys to clearly bid what we want them to bid and have fewer RFIs hopefully down the road. For us, yeah, hand markup will be fine for our efforts.
For DD estimates, yeah.
yeah. Again, we're showing the existing is the.
So just, Ben, just back on the last one, I'm not sure.
Yep.
Do you have piping drawings, or is it just ductwork drawings?
There are. The ductwork are first, and then the piping
Okay.
plans are behind it.
So
Yeah.
in the vestibule, we have heat in there, so will that show up on the piping drawings?
It should be on the piping plan.
Okay, all right. Maybe I'll-
So we have the new kitchen exhaust, which is going up. Connect to existings. You know, with some sizes on the new duct, but we can, again, we'll color coordinate this and make it very clear.
Hi, this is Barbara
The,
calling. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, this is Barbara Conley with Bond. I had a quick question about that kitchen exhaust. I couldn't unmute myself fast enough. Is that going to be black iron?
No, it's a residential hood, which is serving it, so it doesn't
Okay.
have to be black iron welded.
Great,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yep.
Chief Sullivan, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes, yes.
Okay. On that same level as the kitchen, there's a room off of the apparatus floor, a tool room, where there were some ventilation issues. Is that included in the changes?
It's that floor. It's close to where your arrow is, but come towards the apparatus floor, and you're in a cell. Keep going south, right? Keep going right there. Those rooms to the left. It's one of those rooms, right, Chief?
Yes.
Yeah. So there's a double door one, single. There's a room that they use and they paint things in there or something. I forget what you do.
Down one room from where the arrow is, and that's the room.
Yeah, that's the room where they get
Okay.
some migration of ventilation issues there.
That's been reported since we came up with the project.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we've talked about that, Ben. I think it just got missed there. Yeah.
And that kitchen
Okay.
wing is going to get vented directly outside, or it goes up through something else?
Yeah, no, it's going to be directly outside. What I'd like to do is, I don't know that we want to get into replacing the hood. I don't know that you were anticipating that, Janet.
You mean in that little
think we
utility
wanna-
room? I don't think there's a hood in there, Chief.
No.
It's just when they go in there and actually do certain tasks,
Yes.
painting or whatever, that the fumes, whatever they generate, they can smell it. It's in the police department, they
Yeah,
can,
it
it's
goes-
just like the kitchen. We don't know how they cross over, however it's exhausted is too close to an intake. I'm not really
Right.
sure.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
accurate.
Right.
And we
Yeah.
should check that to make sure that it's vented. It does get vented somewhere, because I'm not really.
But we don't know where.
I'm not really sure why the
Okay.
police side is getting those odors.
No.
My bad. I switched topics from the storage room to the.
No, we were talking about the kitchen exhaust hood, right, Chief?
Yeah.
Well, he was talking both. He was
I was
talking both, Ben.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to confuse the issue.
Yeah.
The kitchen, is that being vented directly outside, or is that going through something else? The hood.
Currently, the kitchen exhaust hood has a small built-in fan into it. Is ducted up and goes out to a gooseneck. What I would like to do is we're anticipating replacing all of that ductwork, and I'd like to put a fan on the other end, on the outside of the building, so I make sure that I am drawing all of that air out of the building instead of just relying on a small fan inside that hood, the existing hood. Because Janet, correct me if I'm wrong, but that hood is anticipated to be existing to remain, right?
Yeah, there was, our charge was to fix it so that the police department doesn't know what the fire department is cooking on a daily basis. So, if the hood is in good working shape, then we'll keep it. And, I think taking it up to the roof and bringing a fan sounds like a good plan. Because whatever it's doing now, it's not right. So.
And just to go back to the tool room for a second, that should be, I would think that room should be vented outside. I mean, I'm not a HVAC.
Can you run a vent up through the apparatus bay, through the roof? Just a dedicated exhaust?
Yeah, Ben, I was going to ask the same thing. You have it going up. I noticed the third floor, you had it going up through a dorm room. I was wondering if you could take it north. I'm just going to use north as up on that plan, north up into the, up through the apparatus. I don't know what's easiest.
Yeah, we followed the same routing as what the existing was shown as.
Yeah. Okay.
So if it would be easier to do it at the apparatus bay, and less evasive, we could do that.
Well, I would say let's do it the cheapest way that will get the results that we want. So I'd use your recommendation. If you have ductwork going all the way up there already, and it's a matter of the idea of using the small fan that's inside it versus a fan on the roof that's dedicated, and it will draw that odors up and out more efficiently. I'm okay with that. If you say you need to replace it all to get it to work, then maybe we should go up through the apparatus. My thoughts. Anybody else can jump in on that one. So.
Whatever works.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Same with that utility room. I don't know how that one works. You'll have to take a look at that ductwork if there's anything in there, and how it's migrating, whether it's the walls, the way the walls were built, if there's gaps in the walls, above we don't even know about, it's just, just finding its way out, or whether it's actually the same kind of a thing, no fan support or little fan support, and we need to goose that up. So if you take a look at that.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
One other quick question. Greg Williamson
Sure.
from Bond. Down the first floor toilet rooms. There's 2 existing toilet rooms there. Are we just extending the existing toilet exhaust over to pick up the new toilet rooms?
Are you talking
in the lobby area?
Oh, in the lobby.
In the lobby.
In the lobby.
Okay.
Yeah.
2 on the left.
Yep. I believe we weren't. Yeah.
It looks like you have one new one. I don't know. I can't. Oh, no, maybe not.
Yeah. I
don't
I'll have
see,
to look into that. I'll get back to you on that. I think we were extending the existing, but I don't see it.
yeah, because they're really just being relocated, moved around or whatever. So it's more of a coordination issue. But
Yeah.
You're taking two out and putting two new in.
But whether we can connect easily is a question. So,
Right. Yep. Okay. So now we're at this level, which is third floor ductwork.
So on, try to jump back again. So on the first floor again, just can you explain how the dispatch works? Is that so we're retaining all that ductwork? So that's not on its own system.
So it's going to have its own VAV system, and then it's going to have two new DCU systems for supplemental cooling.
But in terms of ventilation, is that zoned with the rest of
the VAV? The VAV that's in there,
right,
is going to be serving
so
that.
those two thick black lines, those two boxes are new VAVs.
So right where my cursor is the VAV terminal boxes,
right?
Providing the ventilation to it. This box and this box are the new ductless coolings, which will be the supplemental cooling for the space.
Okay. And so fresh air will be controlled by that VAV. That'll be one separate zone.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. This is the ductwork that we were talking about running through the third floor, getting up to that gooseneck.
and is that
we can explore bringing?
Is that existing?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, so again, the new followed the same path as the existing.
Okay. So it already exists. So it's not like they're, it's going to run into a wall issue or something. We're just following the line of existing. Okay.
But we'll have to demo what's being, like, it looks like there's casework or something that's gonna have to come out, right?
Those are lockers, it looks like. And there's actually in there, Chief Sullivan.
If we're putting a unit on the roof, do we need to replace the ductwork? Can we just connect to it? It seems like if unless we think the existing ductwork is failing and it's going to be the same size, why wouldn't we just keep it?
What I'm thinking is, originally, every time we've looked at this, we were alerted to the concern of when they're cooking something on the fire station side, it's getting over to the police side. So our original intent was always that maybe there was a deficiency with this duct, and that's why we were calling for it to be replaced. What could be happening is because that gooseneck is coming out on the roof, maybe it's being pulled in through RTU, through the RTU that's near the gooseneck, outdoor air intake. I got to look at that a little bit more. But if we replace that gooseneck with like an upblast fan, that would be pushing it further away from the intake. That might resolve the problem. If we were to do that, because it shouldn't be coming from this ductwork, because this ductwork isn't obviously on the police station side.
I mean, certainly a whole lot less invasive to keep it, even if we had to pressure test it or something to verify it was functional. Just it just seems like if we can keep it, we should.
So the problems with this hood, I guess the general question is it anywhere else inside the building here, or is it just the issue with it noticed on the police station side? Because if it's observed here, it could be the fan that's in the existing hood doesn't have enough oomph to get it up and out of the building. There could be a break in the ductwork, like you were saying, a pressure test would be able to show that. Or if it's just on the police station side, it's probably a reentrainment issue of coming from the gooseneck into the ITU intake.
But he said RTU shouldn't be anywhere near where that comes out of the building. Right?
I think where it's, Bed's approach is belt and suspenders. Let's take it all out and hope, hope we find it as an issue. And the other question is, can we save some money by not getting in there? And that's a concern. Chief Sullivan, in any of the dorm rooms that you're looking at on screen right now, that looks like 4 lockers or cubbies or whatever, are those fixed pieces of furniture? Is there actually a chase there that you recognize, a bump out in the wall in one of those dorm rooms that actually has ductwork?
I believe they just sit there in each room. They might be like screwed together or screwed to the wall, but they're not like built in.
Okay.
That I'm aware of.
Okay. So I think what we need to do is just know what that wall condition actually is. We'll look at the architectural again, and see if there's a bump out of the wall to do that.
Could you take a picture of that, Chief, and send it to us over the next couple of days?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just that one dorm room there.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's the fifth one in from the stair. 5th room in from the stair.
Dorm 6.
Well, we call it dorm 6. I think we took those. You guys edited our numbering or naming system. So, but just in case, it's the 5th room in from the stair.
Okay. All right.
Okay, that would be appreciated. Thank you.
You just want me to check and see if there's a duct there?
Yeah, take a picture. See if you see a bump out in the wall. Anything. Yeah,
Okay.
anything you see.
All right, I can do that.
Thank you. Talked about those.
Mm-hmm.
So just go back to 2A.
So which one? I'm sorry.
So this is the lunchroom.
The lunchroom.
Yeah, 2A M103.
M103. Okay.
Is there a supplier return in that lunchroom? And I think we're aren't we putting a range in there? Do we need to exhaust?
It's room 218. Yep, right there.
Right here.
Yeah, we have a cooktop and hood and.
Okay. Is that so it's a residential type hood that we have in there, Janet?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's got a ducted connection. Do you have a cut sheet of that?
I don't, Scott. Can you see what we need for that, please? And we can, if we have to make anything work with that existing ductwork, we could probably flip the refrigerator and the stove location if it all if we needed to have some room there for the hood. The refrigerator may end up working better against the back wall as the door opens, sort of thing. So we can look at that if we need to flip it or anything, we can do that.
Okay.
Shane, do you have anything else on a drawing number that?
No, I think that's really good.
Okay.
Hi, guys. Can you hear me, Deputy Chief? I just did run up to dorm room 6. There is in fact a bump out and they popped the ceiling tile. That's where your duct is, right above that bump out.
All right.
Sure, I'll get it for you.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
You know, I'm sorry. There were piping plans. I thought there were piping plans. There were supposed to be piping plans, but I don't know. I don't see them included here. It goes from
they weren't in the
10
set I got.
Okay.
So can
I
you
will
send
check
those
on
out?
that, and I will get those. I will get those sent over. Yeah.
So just maybe send them to Scott, and Scott, you can just distribute them to everybody who got the DD set.
Yes.
Yep, sure.
On your schedule, Ben. So those sizes, are you're just going to check those and because right now you're showing at 12,000 CFM rooftop unit 2, and then the chiller. I know in your report we carried, I think, 120-ton chiller. You got 100 tons.
Yep.
Is 100 correct?
Again, our load counts have sort of progressed, and I think that 100-ton, we can do this with a 100-ton chiller. Go down from 120, which is good because that should match it will be closer to the existing weight of the existing chiller. So.
I guess then, so yeah, on the piping plan, just how are you proposing to heat the vestibule? Because it's going to be a glass box, Janet, right? Pretty much. Is there going to be a unit heater up in the corner?
Not a unit, even a ceiling mounted. Shane? Are we doing some baseboard supplement? What do you think?
Yeah, so in the vestibule entry, on the level 1 we're talking about, I think we had a unit heater shown.
Yeah, the main entrance into the building.
Yeah, unit heater that's recessed in the ceiling, right? Sorry, recessed in the ceiling, right?
Right.
Yep.
All right. Okay, just one of nightmares in vestibules with heating and doors swinging open 100 times an hour, especially in winter.
You won't need any supplement low, will you, with all that glass?
No.
Okay.
No, the unit heater will be able to maintain the space.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Great. Nice to hear.
So controls, Ben, again, I didn't see a control sequence or sequence of ops.
Yep.
Do you have that?
Our controls are anticipated to tie into the existing and expand on the existing system that's there.
Okay, so again, we're at DD, but when we come to bid, so you're going to include the sequence of operations so that the controls contractor can price that, so he knows how it should work.
Correct. Yep. And it will have a points list, and everything will have a sequence of operation. Yep.
Do the devices, the thermostats and stuff, do they need to be proprietary to the same as what's there?
I can't recall off the top of my head if it is an open protocol thing where you can expand it similar to like you were talking about the fire alarm, or if it will need to be proprietary. But we'll have all that documented.
All right, but can you let me know, because if it's proprietary, we have to go to like the Board of Selectmen to get
Yep.
that approved. You know, the building committee can't make that decision. We have to get that approval from an elected committee.
Yep.
So I just don't want to get caught out at the end that we don't have that. So if it needs to be proprietary, can you let us know when? It should be a formality, but something we have to do if it's proprietary.
Yep. No. Absolutely.
Anything else for Ben, Shane, or anyone else? Dave? Okay.
No, so again, you know, I know we were a little further behind than where we wanted to be on the mechanical. You know, with the estimates due back next week, I think, Ben, you're going to try and get us even some more information so we can, you know, complete those estimates. But I think once the estimates come back, maybe we need to revisit mechanical. Just concerned with, you know, as Dave is, you know, sequencing, phasing, how these guys are going to price it when we come to the bid market. I'm just, I was hoping for a bit more detailed information here.
Okay.
You know, Dave, I know if it's enough that you can start, you know, we're going to be looking to you guys now that we're going into CDs to start putting together those phasing and sequencing plans.
They're done. Well, we've progressed them this week, actually, very significantly. I just compiled that with the schedule update yesterday, and I wanted to get through this meeting to see if there was anything significant that came out of it before we issued them, but I'm thinking that we'll issue them tomorrow. Obviously, we couldn't advance the MEP very much, but I think there's enough information on what we've done to help backfeed some of the information and double checking. So I think we need to sort of work together with the design team based on what the phasing and sequencing looks like to make sure that we're not, you know, that we can work together on making the sequencing as easy as possible. If it means adding a panel or, you know, just understanding the routing. We don't have, again, just like that, we didn't have piping, so we couldn't tell if we were out of phase and how to get stuff to areas that were, you know, out of sequence. So we're just going to have to continue to evolve it. But I think there's enough that we've done now to at least get information to everybody so that we can all work together to identify where those out of phase areas might be.
Okay. All right. All right. So this was helpful. Thank you, Janet and your team, and GGD, and thanks, Pond, for jumping on. I'll get some more information on security from Todd. And I think that's and then I think that's about it, right?
Yep, I think that is it. Thank you.
Thanks,
Ben.
Joe Conway had to jump off. He said he was going to call me tomorrow just to coordinate the flow test, Janet.
Okay.
So I'll let you know what he says.
And I read some emails that the work today on the outside for the it was completed with the yep. So that's good. At least we'll know what we got to deal with there. Okay. I might have a thing or two. I have to go through my notes. Shane, I may write to you or call you. I have a big meeting tomorrow morning somewhere else, but I'll be looping around, and Scott will be handling a bunch of things. So I'll chat with him in the meantime. So, okay. All right. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Take care, everyone.
So just before we go, I know if anyone from the police department or fire department have any questions, or Philip, if you're all set.
I had it, if I could just take like 2 minutes. I couldn't get my speakers to work for most of the meeting, but I had a couple quick things. Just want to confirm stuff. I think it's a great idea to move the annunciator to the front lobby. It's the new front lobby, if that was brought up. The area at the rear of dispatch, somebody mentioned converting it from dry to a wet system. That's great. I think that's a great idea also. I agree with keeping the fire alarm control panel if you can do it. Just make sure that the devices that are going into the new areas are compatible with that system, and I don't have an issue with it. The lighting circuit in the hallway inside fire administration. I know somebody had spoken about like the lights turning off in common areas and stuff. And if we can keep that on the existing hallway circuit, I think that would be great. I really don't think it's a good idea to have that hallway shut off. Just my 2 cents worth. I wasn't sure if the administrative office and the fire side was going to stay switched onto the circuit, because that's inside the scope of construction. Just at some point, we probably should just confirm that. We already talked about the kitchen hood system. We already talked about the tool maintenance room area. And I think you guys are all set with dorm room 6. Is that correct? Or do you still need a picture?
I think we're all set, right? So the ductwork just runs above that drop ceiling.
Okay. I just want to make sure I didn't know anybody a picture, that's all.
So yeah, so those lockers in the dorm room are not affecting the
Yeah, they're actually not against the wall. There's a bump out that's,
okay.
You know, we'll find to see if we can find it in the architectural, but okay.
Okay, that was it. I just wanted to, you're probably wondering why I was being so silent about the sprinkler and fire alarm, and I wasn't. You just couldn't hear me.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
that's fine. I just wanted to get that into the minutes, that's all.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Chief Scory.
We're good on the police side. Thank you.
Okay, Bond, you all set? All right, thanks, everybody.
All right, have a good one.
Yeah, thanks.